Greetings, brothers and sisters. The time of our separation during this pandemic has been challenging, but it is very likely nearing its end. And as we begin to look toward the future, the elders wanted me to share with you some of the things that they have been thinking about as we prepare for coming together. The exact date that we will resume our gatherings is not yet set, but even as we start thinking that direction, they want you to begin considering these things as you think about coming to this place that, if you're like me, you've really missed and been driven away from, a place you've really longed to be. But now, going back there, how will we do it? What exactly is it going to be like when we walk through these doors again? A few things they want us to think about might include the concept of greeting one another. We're so used to extending a warm and welcoming handshake or even a hug as we see one another, and especially since we've been apart for such a long time. Some of us are very comfortable with that idea of shaking hands and hugging one another again, while others have greater concern with respect to this virus. And we really need to respect one another's levels of concern. If someone comes to you and they extend that hand of fellowship, but you're really not comfortable shaking hands, the elders want you to know that's okay. It is really okay to say, I really don't want to shake hands right now, but thank you, I love you. And if you're the one extending the hand of fellowship to somebody else, thank you for loving each other and wanting to do that. But please bear with one another and be ready to see the person who says, I'd really rather not do that right now. And in fact, it might be best if we, for a time, transition from the extending the hand of fellowship to moving instead to the elbow bump of fellowship and holiness and friendliness and happy joy. I don't know what that acronym spells. Please don't spell it out because I didn't do it before shooting this video. The center of our worship together is around the word and the table. And the table is a challenging thing during a pandemic. How exactly do we celebrate the Lord's Supper? The elders want you to know that we are working hard to secure these. If you've never seen these before, they are individual servings of the communion. On the top, there are two cellophane wrapper things, and you peel back one and you'll have a small piece of communion bread. When you peel back the second, you'll have access to a small amount of juice. We are working to have these available for you and hoping to have, as you enter, a table set up in the foyer that will have these on that table, and that way they'll be available for you to pick up. The person who will have taken them from the box will be wearing gloves. We're doing everything that we can to avoid contamination. Of course, the elders also want to encourage you that if you have communion supplies at home and are willing to bring them, please do. Please bring with you a small amount of fruit of the vine and a small, maybe some Dixie cups and enough communion bread for your family. Both of these measures are meant to avoid the passing of plates, and especially eating plates that have been passed. Because if we do have anyone who shows up among us that has this disease, we want to do all that we can to avoid spreading that illness. The passing of the collection plate, we're going to withhold doing that for a time. Instead, you will find in the lobby a box. Probably not this box. We probably won't be using a Starbucks box or a Ziploc box. And oh, good grief, no, not that. Those donuts are from October. No, not those. No, but it will be a box, perhaps several boxes, that'll be clearly labeled into which you can place your contribution. We realize, of course, that that's not quite the same as doing it during the worship service. But please still approach that as an act of worship as you make an offering to the Lord. We are not going to require face masks, We're still discussing exactly how we want to encourage things like singing without face masks and things like this. You are certainly welcome to wear one, especially if you have one that Esperanza has made, like this one here. I'm very proud of it. I really like that. Esperanza's Foundation, Crowns of Hope, is making these. And if you haven't already received one, please contact Esperanza. She wants you to have not one, but two per person. That way you can have one that you're wearing and one to be laundered to keep yourself safe. Scattered throughout the lobby, you will find small bottles of hand sanitizer. And please feel free to use this. The church will keep it stocked until we feel like this time of crisis is past. So you should feel free not only to wash your hands, but also to use this stuff that is really effective at killing off the coronavirus. When you enter, we don't know exactly how we're going to do this, but someone has gone through and put your smiling face there for me for while I'm preaching. I tell you, whoever did that, it is so encouraging. Each time I look out and I see all the faces of the people that I'm preaching for, who I love so very much. You may find your face somewhere in the auditorium, perhaps. And please note, we're going to try and spread us out so that we can observe social distancing while we are together, so that we'd like to leave a pew in between people as we worship. We know we want to be together, but we also know that we want to keep one another safe. Also, please note that children's worship and Bible classes, I hate that big circle with the line over it, but we won't be doing that, at least when we first start. We won't be doing the Bible studies for kids or the children's worship, because we want our contact with one another to be strictly as limited as possible at the beginning, and see how things go, how things progress. And we're just working to try and keep everybody safe. To that end, it's possible that our first worship services may not even be in that building. The elders right now are under discussion about perhaps using this building, the pavilion, which is open air and therefore perhaps somewhat safer. We may even encourage the bringing of the pavilion tents, that if you own one of those, that people use at the craft fairs and things. So that we can be spread out and keep one another safe. If you don't know where the pavilion is located, that thing is down behind the church building in the back. And our first worship gatherings may be there and in the very near future. We're still working to make sure that we can keep everyone healthy and safe. We're listening to the government of the United States and to the state of North Carolina as they give us their advice with respect to this pandemic, and we're working to be cooperative with them. We also want you to know that if you do not feel safe, if this thing feels like a greater threat to your security than you want to risk, we don't want you to feel obligated to come here during this time of disease. And if you'd like to wait another month even before you return to worship with us, we respect that. The church, we look very much forward to being together again. May God bless us during this very challenging time where we've had to be apart. May God bless our coming together again. And may it be soon, because a day will come when we will gather together, not just in this building, and not just with us, but with all God's people across time everywhere, all whom we have lost and all who there ever will be, gathered together with Jesus. May the day of that gathering be soon. May our endurance through this time of separation remind us that we are waiting patiently for an even greater reunion. God bless you.